Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's a little bit of a rainy day today so far. A little drizzly out, light rain. Nothing too big of a deal, but we're supposed to be getting this kind of off and on for the next couple of days. We'll see. Maybe even a chance of some thunderstorms. Speaking of storms, the commissioner for the Portland port spoke on business news this morning, and he was talking about the port there in Portland. And he said, in a rare occurrence, it is almost completely vacant. He said there's no ships in berth, there's no dock workers out working, there's no containers out on the docks. It is completely empty. Los Angeles port has reported a reduction of 1/3 of the amount of ships this week. And remember, we've been saying that this was the week that it would really start taking effect. I mean, there's been little bit up until now, but this week was the week. And it's because of the turnaround time of how long it takes to get ships from overseas to here. It's not like flying a plane in a few hours. It takes weeks, depending on where they're coming from, 2 to 3 weeks or so. And that they believed that this would be the week that we would start seeing significant difference here in the United States. And it's happening. It's happening. The port in Portland is empty. And while it may only be empty today or for a few hours, and maybe some ships will probably come in, that's a pretty busy port, and it's very rare for that to happen. If you folks remember back during COVID, remember when we had all the ships that were out at sea? There was 100, 150, 160 ships that were trying to get into the port to unload, but there wasn't enough dock workers to unload the stuff. Remember that? I mean, that was a pretty big story for a while, and we started to see the slowdown, the empty shelves. Well, this is different. There's dock workers. There's just no ships. There's nothing. There's no stuff. At least with that, there was stuff. It was just slow getting into the docks, which meant it was slow to get into your shelves. This time, there just isn't stuff or a great reduction of it. And it's not just the cheap, junky stuff, folks. I understand that's a big focus. Oh, we don't need this cheap little gadgets that no one needs. This is medical supplies. The vast majority of all medical supplies in the United States come from overseas. Parts to various components for appliances, for your vehicles, for all types of industry. A lot of it's coming overseas. A lot of raw materials to build the things that are being made here in the United States. And remember that while the big focus on the tariffs is China, there's some pretty steep tariffs on stuff in Canada and in Mexico coming in, which are also two big trade partners that we have. In fact, Canada's the biggest. That's who we do most trade with. And then also Mexico is a big one too. And so everything coming in is receiving pretty high tariffs on them, which is either going to make the price go up or the availability go down, because a lot of these companies just, they can't absorb that much of an additional cost. They can't absorb it. And so they absolutely have to pass it on to the consumer. That's the way it's always been. This is nothing new. It's nothing to get mad at the consumers and mad at the businesses or the importers. They can't go under. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's a lot of small mom and pops that's being affected by it too. It's not just the big corporations. There's a lot of focus on, Walmart and Amazon. There's a lot of small businesses that the majority of the stuff that they get in comes from overseas, little clothing shops, boutiques, all types of, electronic stores and stuff all over the United States that are small businesses that, they're greatly affected. In fact, just in the last couple of days, I've seen numerous stories in the news, whether it be, print type media, TV, and then people posting online that are small business owners that are saying that, they're either starting to already run out of stock. Maybe some of them had a week or two supply in the back room, and they're saying that, they don't know what they're going to do in another 2 or 3 weeks. When they completely run out of stuff, they're going to have to shut their store down because they have nothing to put on the shelves, or they will have nothing to put on the shelves. This is affecting not just the availability of stuff and the price that you pay for things. It's also going to affect, and is already, small businesses, trucking, rail, the dock workers. They're all going to get their pay cut, their hours cut, jobs cut. Small businesses may end up being closed or greatly reduce. They may lay off employees, because this is affecting a lot of things. It has major ripples across many areas. It's not just that, come Christmas, little Sally isn't going to get 30 dolls. She's only going to get 2 dolls. It's affecting a lot of things. It will continue to affect the economy, and it will very possibly start to affect just the whole structure here in the United States. It could cause things to just kind of disrupt and get a little out of control. There's already been reports of Antifa stupid stuff that they're doing. Like I've been saying for the last few days, for a long time, more than a few days, people in America, there's a lot of instability, mental instability, there's emotional instability, uncertainty, and you do all that, and then you start taking stuff off the shelf, people losing their jobs, people getting laid off, losses of income. It's just exacerbating the situation. And so it's bigger than just, I'll just buy something that's American, or I'll just do without. It's going to cause a lot more problems, and we need to get prepared for it. Because there's not really an immediate end in sight. I know that the president is saying that he's getting ready to announce a big trade deal with someone. It's probably India, but it could be someone else. And yes, we do get a lot of stuff from India. So, but that's never not been in doubt too much. India has been open to a trade deal since the beginning of this. It could be someone else, but the fact is that it is happening. There's talk of potential trade talks with China, although China has made it very clear again yesterday that they did not request this. In fact, China, this is their little dig. China said that the president was begging them to come to the table after that he started the tariffs, and now he comes to them begging. Now, that's not necessarily my words. I mean, that's my paraphrase, but so there's a lot of things going on, and it is going to start affecting us, you, your neighbors, the small businesses in your area, probably way more than most people even think. And this, if anything, is a great reason of why you should be prepared, why you should have a little stockpile of stuff, why you should have the capability of being more self-sufficient, producing your own food, making some of your own things, doing for yourself. Because even if today the president announced that he was dropping all tariffs, there's still going to be probably at least at minimum of 3 to 6 weeks of serious disruption and slowdown and hurt when it comes to the supply chain. And that's being extremely conservative in figures. So, and there's it's unlikely that the tariffs are going to get dropped today. They just keep going on, and it's going to start affecting things. And even if there's still things on the shelf, it's going to increase the cost of things. And it's increasing the cost of things very much across the board. Even, like I said, even items that are actually manufactured in the United States, it can easily increase the cost of those, because a lot of things that are manufactured in the United States, the raw components come from overseas, and a lot of that is China. It's just what it is. It's interesting that, and most people don't know this, that you can put a Made in America stamp on your product if it's only a certain percentage made in America. You can buy a t-shirt. You can buy a t-shirt that's The t-shirt itself is produced overseas, but yet you screen print stuff all over it and all that kind of stuff, and you can slap your own label on it and say it's made in America. This happens a lot, you know. You can make your own gear bag and stuff it full of gear that's made from overseas and say it's made in America. So a lot of stuff that is made in America has components from overseas in it, or the raw materials. And people need to wake up for that. It's starting, okay? In the next week or two, you're going to start noticing it on shelves, and you know, in the next 4 weeks, if things continue the way they are, 4 weeks from now, most people will start noticing. I was thinking the other day, I don't personally care about this, but I was thinking of this. We got 4th of July coming up. Pretty much everything on 4th of July comes from China. What about that kind of stuff? If this doesn't get resolved, those little fireworks stands that gets popped up, how many of them are not going to be around because not getting stuff from China? Memorial Day, other holidays, you know, put up all the American flags and stuff. You know, most of those American flags, they're made in China. You know, the little flags you stick on gravestones, a little small, China. I know it's horrible. It shouldn't be that way. But the fact is that it is. And so there's a lot of things this year that may be very different because of this. And you may say, well, it's not the end of the world to buy a bunch of little flags, or it's not the end of the world to buy a bunch of firecrackers. I get that. And for you and I, we may be okay with that. We may be able to handle it. But again, the average American that's still plugged into the system, that's still oblivious to what's going on, that still is not prepared in any way, and also has emotional or mental problems. They're taking depression antidepressant, they're taking all this kind of stuff, and they start seeing the prices of stuff that they buy go up or not available, and their wages haven't changed or they've gone down. It's, you know what it is. It's not a good situation, and you need to get ready for it. As far as stocking up, if you don't do it real soon, you may be too late for that for a while, because just the sheer stocking up stuff, it may not. You know, it's no different than, you know, I was talking about how things are made here, but, you know, have components. Food. Oh, well, at least this canned food is made in the United States. Well, where did the can come from? Where did the paper that they put on the label for the can, where did that come from? What about any of the lining that they put in the can? Where did that come from? That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You know, the packaging to ship it to the store. Where did that come from? Don't know, but a lot of times it's China. And so we could start to see some serious slowdowns in a lot of areas, not just the cheap little dollar store, Dollar Tree type items. And you need to kind of be prepared for that. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.